10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to the Wrestle Talk Podcast. For the next 2 hours, we will bring you the latest pro wrestling news, in-depth analysis of all your favorite promotions from across the globe, and much, much more. We will also bring you exclusive interviews with the greatest professional wrestling personalities on the local, national, and international levels. If you want to follow the Wrestle Talk Podcast, check us out online at www.wrestletalkpodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. And now, it's time for the reigning, defending, undisputed leader in pro wrestling podcast, the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
Evening, Wrestle Talk family, and welcome to another great episode of Wrestle Talk Podcast. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are live with episode 506 right here, ladies and gentlemen, and so excited to be here tonight for this great episode. It is part 3 of Unmasked and Uncensored with El Diablo Vega. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. So, looking forward to seeing the conclusion of that interview. We have seen and found out so much already, and we're just seeing how this series goes, and you may see more series like this in the future. Who knows? But just great interview so far, and just looking forward to finding out the conclusion tonight. But before we get there, our format for the first part of the show is going to stay the same as always. So I am not here by myself, ladies and gentlemen. So let me get my co-host in here for the night. He is the young lion with the old soul. He is the one and only Gabriel R.C., ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, Wrestle Talk Podcast. I have had a very, very long week, and I'm very fixated on making sure I take it out on every one of y'all. So, that's for y'all. No, I'm just kidding. How y'all doing? Hardcore Ross? How you been? A lot happened in the world of professional wrestling.
A lot going on, and Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year aside. And, just we've been off now for 3 weeks we've been off with the holidays and stuff, and it's just great to be back in the saddle with you again, let me tell you. And it's just going to be an awesome show. We have so much to talk about, so much happening, and be sure to use the hashtag WTP, hashtag Let's Talk Wrestling, and be sure to share this broadcast and comment, and just be sure to help us get out there. And as always, we definitely would not be here without our great and wonderful sponsors. So we've got to be sure to shout out those sponsors. So we want to thank each and every one of them. We've got Retro Zone, Painter's Dream Productions, which is the one and only Big Daddy P. We've got the Independent St. Louis Hall of Fame, Interstate 70 Sports Media, Jeremy Carp and the guys over there. We got Little Popeyes Designs, where you can get your very own Wrestle Talk Podcast tumbler. Just $20, an extra $5 if you want your name on it, plus shipping and handling. And the world's premier fantasy wrestling group, the FWWC, which both Gabe and myself are a part of. Absolute good time there. We're as close as you get to being a real wrestling group without actually stepping in the ring. We film promos, we role play matches, and we do picks and stuff. And you'll find out more about the FWWC later on tonight, but be sure to check them out on Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide chapter on Facebook,
Well, and we can confirm that we have talent too, because the person that we're going to be spotlighting here tonight is a former member of the FWWC. So if you want to take it into account, folks, we have a success story, and soon to be having a second one featuring yours truly. But I like to not get ahead of myself here. We're not here tonight for me. We're here tonight for El Diablo. We're here for the FWWC, and we are here for the Wrestle Talk podcast family. But Haas, before we jump into our favorite segment in the Wrestle Talk podcast, I think we have a little bit of business to take care of now that we got these sponsors out of the way.
Oh, yes, definitely. And, also with those sponsors, don't forget, we do have a fan sponsorship. Be sure to hit us up if you'd like to become one of our fan sponsors. Right now, Susie Haas was the first fan sponsor ever for the FWWC. So hit us up if you'd like to be a fan sponsor. We'll get you hooked up with that and get you more information. And also, on Facebook, you can send us stars, so be sure to do that. Send us a few stars. You can get some, I believe, as low as like 99 cents or something like that, or $1.99. Anyway, they're relatively inexpensive. You can send us some stars and we get a little bit out of that. And it just helps keeps the show going and helps with our content and stuff. So
remember, folks, if you don't send a donation, you don't really love us. No. Never want to put you guys at gunpoint, but we really do appreciate it. It helps us to be able to keep making episodes. It honestly helps with exposure as well, but also it just, makes things a lot easier on the behind the curtain aspect of what we're doing here. But, let's keep that behind the curtain, if we will. But Haas, with that, I think Susie here has said it best. We've all been dreading it, but I think we need to take care of some very, very important business here, or Night Owl will never live us down. And that is for the Wrestle Talk podcast to pay tribute to the most amazing country on God's green earth. And that is America, damn it.
brings a tear to your eye every time, or blood to your ears, one of the two. I believe Jeremy Carp is probably having an aneurysm somewhere as we speak.
Never gets old, never gets old. Never change, Roseanne. And of course, with that taken care of, Hardcore Haas, I want to make sure, are we missing anything else before we jump into the next segment here in the Wrestle Talk podcast?
Not that I can think of right off. Shout out to Jackson. It says, we've inspired him. He may start his own interview series. So, shout out there. And shout out to AJ Wallace. He says he accepted Stephen E's game show challenge on the Wrestle Talk podcast. So,
we have confirmation. All right. So we need to get that. We need to figure out, we got to send some of our people out there then, because I want to get that on tape. All right. Because I need to see what happens between AJ Wallace and Stephen E. All right. Because I can tell you right now, AJ, I lost to this man fair and square on this podcast right here. All right. So he is not a man to mess around, but if anybody can beat him, I got a good feeling about you, AJ. I think you're going to be the man to embarrass Stephen E. as much as I am in favor of this gentleman.
Well, Stephen E. had your number, that's for sure. So we'll have to see, and we'll definitely see if we can't get that worked out. So But yeah, so let's go ahead and get on to our next segment here because there's a lot to talk about. I know Big Daddy P was supposed to be joining us, and
Do we have any confirmation on Mr. CEO Dewan Mills for the FWWC?
he is supposed to be joining us later, so he should be coming in, but we'll pop in with Big Daddy P, if and when he pops in here, because like I say, he was supposed to be here. So let's go ahead and get into one of our favorite segments where we actually get down to the meat and potatoes thing and talk some wrestling with that high spot segment. So take it away, DJ Money.
Mic check, mic check. Yeah. All right. Wrestle Talk Podcast. DJ Money. Yeah. Let's go. Welcome to High Spots, where we pop news like clear chops. We talk shop, coming through the screens of a laptop and non-stop like I'm running speakers of blacktop. We hit hard like chair shots and backdrops. Like a clock flash, look like a barely fly. Now that's hard. We up to speed while they stay slow. Wrestle Talk Podcast. Now they know we about to start the show.
All right, that DJ Money hitting hard. So we definitely want to give a shout out to DJ Money for that music there that he provided us with.
Shout out for the palate cleanser, sir, because after Roseanne Barr, I think we all need the moment to have that kind of clear our ears out a bit.
And of course, as always, like we say, that theme was provided by DJ Money. And, if you'd like to support DJ Money, visit his store location there in Georgia. Visit shopbryanthill.com. So be sure to check out DJ Money.
And tell him Wrestle Talk Podcast sent you.
That's right. So, all right, let's go ahead and see if we can get this randomizer working here. It's been a few weeks since.
A few weeks. A lot has happened in the past 24 hours, let alone the few weeks.
Oh, and there's still a lot happening tonight with NXT. I know The Rock was supposed to be on NXT tonight. He said he would be there. I don't know what that's all about. A lot of great matches on NXT. So there's a lot to talk about, let me tell you. So let me go ahead and see if we can get this randomizer fired up and get it going. So we got it here somewhere. See what happens when we take so much time off, I tell you. All right, and our first topic. Oh, right off the bat, we got Rhea Ripley, the new women's champion. So the question for that one is, who will be Rhea's first challenger now that she is the women's champion again? Gabe, you want to start us out on your thoughts on that?
It's going to be hard to say, because now that she's kind of conquered Liv, because I'll be honest, I thought they were going to play it out till Mania. And I know everybody was probably not, excited about that, but I guess it's for me, waiting for her to just absolutely maul Liv, not to say that I didn't want to see it happen the way that it did, but I guess I thought they were going to play it out. So I'm honestly caught in a rope where I don't know who else she has left to face. The whole thing with Liv beating her for the belt was that it created a chase for her. And it was she was the chicken shit heel who got away every time. And that's the best way to deal with somebody that you obviously can't beat with bronze. You beat him with brain. But with Rhea, she's already beaten everybody. Or at least majority of everybody. She's already beaten Becky. She's already beaten Charlotte. Has she fought Bayley yet? I don't even know. Has she? Can somebody confirm? I'm pretty sure she's already taken on Nia. So even her losing the belt, I mean, maybe they could run it back, but there's not much of a woman that can beat her, but they could always have her lose by cheating. I mean, that's an option. I mean, I guess if I had to give you an answer, I'm getting way too overhyped about this. I'm sorry. I just because I'm at a loss for words. I don't know who else you could throw her way that would be. I mean, if you want, I want to say throw some people who could use the opportunity. I guess. I mean, I can pull up the women's roster right now, but aside from just some people who could build their stock up that we know, well, they're not going to beat her, but it'll be a good match. I don't really know who else you got fit. Like, if you want me to give you a solid answer, I say give her a couple fatal 4-ways or multi-people matches so that she can feel like her title is threatened without threatening her. I mean, I think that's the only best way to do. AJ Wallace, he'd like to see Raquel Rodriguez. That would be interesting. I mean, that's a power set match, definitely. But as far as I don't know, just to put my answer out there, I think it needs to be like a fatal 4-way or something, or maybe they got to stick her in the elimination chamber, or maybe Asuka. I mean, I'm kind of at a loss here. I know Alexa Bliss just came back, so that's always an option.
And you got to look too at Smackdown and Raw, who is where. And I mean, could we see, I mean, we've seen her go against Dakota Kai before, but could we see possibly Dakota Kai winning the Intercontinental Championship and then Lyra Valkyria going up against her?
Could I see it happening? Yes. Is that your answer, Haas, is the question.
I'm honestly, I'm not sure who they can put her up against. But, that's just a thought. I believe that would be a decent match. You put Lyra Valkyria and Rhea Ripley in a match together. I think that would be a damn good match. But at the same time, you're looking at two people that are basically fan favorites. So, it's who would you want to come out on top on that one? But I really don't know. And, Jackson says, good thing we have a baby face and a heel champion and Rhea Ripley and Tiffany Stratton.
Do you consider Stratton a heel, though? I mean, did you hear the pop? Yeah, I know she does heelish things, but yeah, exactly. See, Jackson corrected himself, because when you look at, I feel like Stratton, after cashing in on Nia because so many people hated her, that Stratton became like an Eddie Guerrero almost, where she does heelish things, but we like her, so we're good with it. You know what it is? I think people hated Nia more than they hated Stratton, so it became a heel or a face through proxy. I mean, I wanted to suggest like Piper Niven, but I'm assuming she's already wrestled her before, hasn't she?
Well, but does it matter who you've wrestled before? It
yes,
really
it does. I'll back it up. It does matter who you've wrestled before, in the sense that who do you book against her. However, to build off of that, Haas, I do think there is potential for a rematch story, because therein lies an interesting dilemma. Maybe you bring back Charlotte and have her be pissed off about what happened at Mania. Maybe she wants the run back. Maybe she wants to prove that the Annihilator can be annihilated. There is potential there. I personally don't want that, because I don't give a shit about Charlotte, but that's just me. But I guess in the opportunity to run it back, you could throw, I'm actually checking the rosters here right now. Ooh, okay. They still have Meiko Satomura. How are they not bumping her up to the main roster? Okay, no, but if I had to throw an answer out there, only because of her recent character change, if you wanted to throw something interesting, I say Nikki Cross. I think with the new direction in her gimmick, do I see her beating Rhea? No. But do I think it would be a hell of a match and would be interesting and somebody could out-scary Rhea Ripley? Yes. But I think we could sit here tossing names out for the next hour and a half, and I don't think that's what everybody wants to sit here, especially because I'm sure I made some enemies after talking shit about Charlotte. But
Well,
I digress.
and you got to remember too. What was it last month? They said the trade portal was open or whatever, and I haven't really heard any names come out of that whole thing. So unless they threw it out there and then said, well, we don't think this is going to be well received, let's forget about it, then you've still got that little tidbit out there that could possibly come into play, and you could have somebody, one of the women from NXT, come up and face her. There are possibilities, but who's it going to be? Who knows?
What I want to double check something here just before we move on. Has she signed yet, or is she still like a freelance right now? I was gonna say if she's still with if she's not with TNA anymore, we need to see Jordynne Grace happen. That's my fan booking for 2025. All right, we need Jordynne Grace versus Rhea Ripley, and I think nobody
don't think that's officially happened yet. So,
well, I'm saying it needs to happen. All right, the door is already open. We know that even if she is with TNA, they could let it happen, and I think if they booked it right, it would be interesting. But I want to throw one comment on here just because I want to know that I'm not alone in this opinion, because Jackson has won my fan award here tonight by saying, no, you made a friend for talking crap about Charlotte. So thank you, Jackson. You were a real one for that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see where they go with this from here.
Susie, I love you. She's not coming back. She's got like 4 titles right now. She's New Japan Strong Women's Champion. She's like Rev Pro Champion, like British Heavyweight, and then she's still got the TBS title. Like, would it be cool? Yes, but WWE ain't doing business with AEW. So unless she drops those belts tomorrow, that I you got a sooner chance of seeing somebody come back from the grave. All right.
Hey, anything can happen nowadays. You never know. So, all right. Are we ready to go on to our next subject here?
I think the audience is ready to hear me stop talking.
All right. Let's go ahead and see what else we got going. And our next topic is Baron Corbin. So rumors are circulating that several promotions are interested in Baron Corbin. Where would he fit the best? That's an interesting question.
What do you think, Boss?
I'm not exactly sure where he'd fit. I've never really been that big of a Baron Corbin fan, to be honest with you.
How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. It's understandable.
However, it was rumored that he was seen backstage at AEW not long ago. And could I see him popping up in AEW? Sure. They take the rest of the WWE rejects, and so why not?
Okay. Is that where we're at with this statement, Haas? All right, they'll take anybody. Is that what you mean? Come on, man. Keep it above the waist, dude. Like, I know we have our opinions, but like, come on. So you think, okay, but do you think he'll sign with AEW? Do you think he was just there for like just to test the waters, or?
I don't know. He definitely, I'm sure, was there talking about a contract. Now, did he actually sign? Will we actually see him? Who knows? But I could definitely see him, going over to AEW. He could possibly show up in TNA, because those seem to be the two most likely places in my mind would be TNA or AEW, because that seems to be where most of the former WWE are showing up.
Yeah, as much as I'm actually like, I don't hate Corbin. Like, I'm not even like a big detractor or anything. And like, if anything, I think his last run in NXT was something good. But as far as like square peg round hole. I don't see him anywhere else as far as the wrestling, is concerned. Now, I mean, it's completely up to him. He could make us both look stupid and show up in AAA tomorrow. It's wrestling is wrestling. Anything can happen. But as far as where I think he would thrive the most, especially as he has name potential, because working in WWE gives you that cred. I agree. I'm mostly with Susie on here. My first guess was TNA. Only because they really could use the name value right now. I mean, their roster is taking a couple of significant hits. So at the very least, with somebody like Corbin, they can definitely beef up their card a bit. And then my other option, it's not that I don't want him to go to AEW. I just think he would probably slot in better in Ring of Honor. Only because with AEW, I definitely think he's going to get lost in the shuffle, especially because these past couple of weeks have been bumping up the names like the hilariously alternatively named Cope. I don't know who signed off on that name. But also with stuff like Bobby Lashley and Ricochet, I mean, Corbin being there would be, okay, cool, Corbin's here. But what's he going to do is the issue. At least with something like Ring of Honor, I definitely think he adds a bit of veteran, value to it, because I definitely think that he could. I think he's been wrestling long enough. I think he has something to offer. But TNA is honestly where I think he'd make the biggest splash. And if we could, I'd like to see him go back to the Lone Wolf, honestly. I mean, I miss the old like biker days with the red lights and everything. I mean, I know he's kind of lacking in the hair department, but I think everybody reaching up into those numbers is going to be, and I don't want to jinx myself in the next couple of years. I don't want to see him go to New Japan. I think it's going to be very awkward if he does, but
yeah, honestly, from what I have, and yourself, we've talked, I'm still learning on New Japan, but from what little bit I do know of New Japan, honestly, I think most of the people they have more talent than Baron Corbin has. I mean, like say, I never was a big Corbin fan. I didn't hate him, and I do agree that that last run he had in NXT was probably one of the best runs I've seen him have. But I think there are more talented people in New Japan than what Baron Corbin really is. So I don't think he'd fit in well there.
The only way, only because I want to entertain this to a degree and I want to try and play devil's advocate because, like I said, it's the world of professional wrestling. The only way I could see him slotting in, or at least to the best of that would complement him the best, you know what I mean? Play to his strengths and cover his weaknesses. He would have to join House of Torture. I think he's at that thing where his moves are kind of, just enough to where they're effective, especially because I think the End of Days is a believable enough finisher, especially in Japan. But also you'll have the luxury of having, their heels and their specialty is, they tend to cheat and they tend to use outside interference or foreign objects or something like that. And honestly, I just think the crowd would probably react in a specific way to somebody as big as Baron because he's pretty big, so that is the only way I think it could see it working. Other than that, standing on his own, I think he's going to get washed out, but that's just me playing a little bit of fan booking to try and work him into something.
Well, I mean, he could go to New Japan and become, a commentator. I hear they have an opening.
You want Baron Corbin commentary on New Japan product? I mean, he could shock all of us, maybe, but really?
Who knows? Okay. So with that,
I think we can kiss his guest spot on this show goodbye after that.
So with that, let's go ahead and see what else the randomizer has for us. And our next topic. Ooh, it's Tiffy time, ladies and gentlemen. So the question is, it's Tiffy time. what do you think about Tiffany Stratton's decision to cash in on Nia and secure the victory? Gabe,
You want to take
go
the lead
ahead.
on this one, Haas?
Well, I think I started us out on the last one, so you go ahead with this one.
I want to start off by saying I'm just words. I'm elated that it is Tiffy time, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I want to have somebody try and find the moment where I called this, where I knew she was going to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. And I knew it was a question of when, not if. And I am elated to know that she is where she is right now. And I have to say that the decision to her cashing in to secure the victory was chef's kiss. I think they kept us, they were throwing enough breadcrumbs of waiting for us to think when she was going to cash in. I'll be honest, I thought she was going to do it during the War Chamber because that would have been awesome. But also, I think they've just been teasing that to trying to get us off of our seats every now and then. But I think the way that they handled it, because I was able to catch the replay, I didn't catch it the moment of, but I was able to keep my buddy Charles DM'd me and he was like, dude, did you see what happened? And I was like, what? And I was like, it's Tiffy time. I'm like, all right, I guess I got to check this out now. And I loved the way that they handled she was about to do it and then she hit the referee and then knocked him over and then she helped Nia so she could retain it. And then immediately knocked her ass out and then just handed it to her. And then that picture perfect moonsault was the cherry on the sundae. And honestly, it's just nice to have a cash in that didn't happen within a month. It's a really annoying statistic that I think Corey Graves was the one who pointed out that this is the first successful cash in on TV. So it's nice to have that for the record books. So now she gets that. So even if the title reign kind of falls flat, she will always have that moment. But it's also just nice to have this because, again, for the last 6 Money in the Bank briefcase winners, they cashed it in either the night of or a week later. And so it's nice to be hey, this one took a while. So everybody was ready for it. And you can tell by the crowd, everybody was screaming. So I am absolutely enthralled that she won. I am fully in support of Tiffy time from now on. I want us to get a clock where it just says Tiffy the entire way through. We need to get that out there, but WWE, call me. All right. We get this out with the licensing. But that's just me, Haas. What are your thoughts?
I've been looking forward to seeing Tiffany cash that in. And, like you said, a lot of people thought it was coming at a pay-per-view, and it very well could have, but I'm glad to see that they did it when they did. It was, I believe I'm right. It was the very first Smackdown of the new year. So what a way to start out the new year than a cash in, and I believe that the women's briefcase is still 100% on cash-ins now. So, and it's nice to see them do it on a television taping rather than a PLE, because most stuff like that always happens on PLEs.
Right? It almost seems like this added to the, what is the word I'm looking for? The unexpectedness, because I feel like everybody wanted to happen at a PLE because we expected to. So the fact that it happened on a TV show, we're like, oh shit, oh, okay. I forgot cash-ins could happen like that, So I agree.
So, but there's a man that I would love to hear his thoughts because I'm sure that he is just absolutely elated that it is Tiffy time. So let's go ahead and get his thoughts on everything and get him in here. The one and only DeJuan Mills.
Really, Hoss, that out of all the hot spots questions, you're going to give me that one? Dog, and I'm backstage. There's a good 7 of them. Okay.
I mean, you can hang for the rest of the show if you got a problem with it, Mills.
I mean, no, it's all good.
I hit a couple of them with us.
It's all good. Pink is my daughter's favorite color. It's Tiffy time. The briefcase is dope. She beat Nia.
I can
Okay,
tell
what's
by the tone in your voice. You're very thrilled.
Yeah, I'm very thrilled. Not because of that. I don't know. I don't have an issue with the character. Her in-ring work is incredible. Let me make that very perfectly freaking clear. It's just now that we don't have this, the briefcase is kind of a gift and a curse, and it's always been that. Because the briefcase, in essence, is an addition to the gimmick. I mean, remember, didn't Corbin win? Corbin had it, then he screwed up and then transitioned to Sad Corbin. And then there's a lot of people who had that briefcase, and then either they aren't successful or they are successful. Then they're the champion. Now what? Now that Tiffy is a champion, now what? We ran this whole gimmick of her cashing in, maybe not cashing in. She had this whole sweet, blondie persona. Now that she's champ, now what? Can you put on a match? Can you defend your title? Can you entertain? That's what I want to see. That's my whole thing. And that goes for any wrestler.
Necessarily
That's
the
just not her in
cash in. It's
particular.
more where it goes after that. I apologize. I didn't mean to talk over you.
Yeah, that's all good. It's just, now what? Because unfortunately, that is the era that we live in nowadays. It's good that we still have build up with things like this, but attention spans is like that. Hence why you saw all the freaking lights last night on Raw and the flashy and the drones and all this shit. And every 5 minutes there's something. Ooh, what's going on? Ooh, what's going on? Ooh, what's going on?
Modern day wrestling is jingling keys in front of the fans. Like literally, people are like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that happened. Who's next? Like, what's going on?"
Yeah, and that's what it is. So for that particular subject, for that particular hotspots, it's a beautiful thing. But okay, what's next? What's up? I do like the big clock idea though. That's pretty badass. I would now watch what happens.
CEO approves WWE. Call me. We get the rights to it. I'm telling you, we'll make this money happen.
I mean, she can get Flavor Flav at WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Now watch what happens.
Can we get the old MVP song, but instead of "I'm Coming," it's Tiffy. Like just that over and over. The click.
Yeah.
So,
what's up, fellas? I'm glad to be here. What's happening?
Hey, Happy New Year to you there, Dewan. It's great for you to join us. We're happy that you're here. And just looking forward to another great year, both with Wrestle Talk and with the FWWC as well. So
I've been getting a lot of questions. I know I'm not sure what direction we're going, but there's been a lot of questions in my inbox. Mills, when we getting back to action? 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 Now, the crazy thing about this is that most of you guys have been around here for 5+ years, 6+ years. You already know. Action will happen. Now, when that action will happen, I don't know. But I only deal with what I know. Okay? So I'm not going to give you any kind of speculation. There's going to be matches next week. Hell, I wanted to make sure the stream wasn't going to crash last night. Let's start with that. And thank you, WWE, for having your servers capable enough so we could all watch Raw on Netflix without the little spinning circle. That's the biggest thing, because people know that our challenges in the FWWC are very, very dependent on if we can watch the show or not. That's the biggest thing. If we can't watch the show accurately, we can't do our challenges. So I might give it a couple of weeks just to kind of test the water to see what's going on. But so far, so good. But what I know for a 100% fact, this is what I know about in-ring competition when the FWC will be back. What I know is this. Saturday, February 1st, FWWC Kingdom Chaos will go down. Now, the only match that I know 100% on the card, and I always have the same conversation, when the year begins and when we get things kicking off, I kind of want to, we got a little bit of rust from the holidays. Christmas was good. New Year's was great. So I don't really have a lot of big implication matches, title matches, so forth and so on. But there will be one title match that I am aware of that I know for a fact, 100%, ink is already signed, is going down. it will be the House of Horrors, our current FWWC Tag Team Champions, defending against none other than Hoss Mafia. Now, there have been conversations. Will this match be title for title? Will this match be winner takes all? That is still pending discussion between myself and the board of directors. We do know for a fact that the tag team titles will be on the line. We do know for a fact that House of Horrors will be defending those tag titles. However, Hardcore Hoss, you being the longest reigning champion currently right now in the FWC as the Hardcore Champion, and Badass American Diva, our current FWC International Champion. Now, will those titles also be included in the mix? Still kind of got to figure that out. You know, I'm not saying no. The BOD isn't saying no. But as a longtime booker of this group, you want to play ahead, you want to go ahead, and you got to think of different scenarios. Okay, what happens if we have one set of champions with 4 titles? How does that look down the line? You know, so myself and the board of directors are going to go over that. We will have an answer. But what I do know for 100% fact, the one match on that card at FWWC Kingdom Chaos, Saturday, February 1st, it will be House of Horrors defending their titles against none other than Hoss Mafia, our current hardcore and international champion. That's all I know. Now, as far as challenges, Friday night, Monday night, hell, I don't even know what the paper is. Did Peacock just lose everything? Like, we're not doing Peacock no more? Like,
no, Peacock's still going to have the pay-per-view, the PLEs. Peacock still has that. And, I mean, the Smackdown is still going to be on USA, and WB still has NXT. You know, all that stays the same in the USA.
More shit to keep track of.
Well, that's in the USA. Now, outside of the USA, yeah, the Netflix has everything across the board. But here in the USA, it's Raw on Netflix, SmackDown on USA, NXT on WB, and Peacock has the PLE.
Just like the old days. See, the younger generation has no idea the struggle. They will, though. Y'all go get it figured out here real soon, man. And it's kind of a, you know, bittersweet thing. You know, it's weird that there's a generation of wrestling fans who never had the experience of watching wrestling on cable TV at 8 o'clock on Saturday mornings. There's a generation that'll never know that. There's a generation of wrestling fans who will 100% only have access or know about having access to professional wrestling on streaming. And that's kind of what, you know, Triple H was talking about last night. You know, the fact that professional wrestling now has the respect enough to be on these different servers, you know, to be on these different streaming services, if you will. You know, the fact that all these different, we kind of joked about it, these sponsors in the middle of the ring. Now, real quick, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I don't want to feel like I failed as a father, but true story, real quick, what happened last night. So, watching wrestling, my kids aren't that much into professional wrestling. I don't know what I did wrong. I think that's mistake number one I made, but they're not that into it. They'll kind of watch it, but I'm the head of the wrestling household here at the Mills compound, if you will. So I forget what match is on. I forget who's in the ring. It might have been when The Undertaker came out with Rhea Ripley. It might have been when The Rock came out. It was some big moment. I forget exactly what happened. But the crowd is going crazy. I'm popping. Everything's great. And my 10-year-old son comes down. Now, all of this is happening on the TV. The lights. Hell, it might have been when Hulk Hogan got booed out the arena. I don't know what moment happened. I have no idea. But my 10-year-old son comes down the stairs and says, "Oh, look, Fortnite in the middle of the ring." I said, "What the hell? What do you mean? Son, do you not see? Dad, I don't know what else is going on, but that thing in the middle of that square is cool. It's Fortnite." And then he goes back upstairs.
I can only imagine the mindset must have just been like, I almost slapped you. Like,
So yeah, so now the older gen, and I know that'll probably be a discussion for another day. about sponsorships and marketing and cricket.
I do want to mention this, Mills. This puts me into the same mindset. I think this was last year, but was it Austin Theory when he came out with Beyblades behind him?
Yes.
Or the Cinnamon Toast Crunch or the Mountain Dew? Like,
Yes.
it just, we've reached that point now, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, and that began the BS. That began it, bro. Like the whole Beyblade or whatever the hell that was in the back, karate. I don't remember what it was, but it was just like, but like I said, in our personal conversations, all them lights cost money. Listen, Gay may not remember this. Hoss, you may remember it. Back in the early 2000s, at least around Kansas City, Cricket Wireless was supposedly some undercover FBI cop phone, and if you had it, the feds was listening to you. It was some crazy stuff. You couldn't do Cricket Wireless because they were going to tap into you and raid your house, and the phone was ridiculous and it was cheap, and everybody made fun of it. Everybody said Cricket Wireless was trash. Now, to some extent, it is still kind of trash, but hey, it's in the middle of a WWE ring now, so sign of the times, boys. Sign of the times.
Dewan, I just saw a question pop up that I know you've already answered, but maybe some people didn't catch.
Oh, FWWC Kingdom Chaos. Yes, we are leaning away from and trust me, these names are hella creative. But yes, FWWC Kingdom Chaos, Saturday, February 1st. Again, House of Horrors will defend their tag team titles against House Mafia. Now, again, we don't know whether all titles will be on the line, but we do know for sure that the tag titles will be on the line. That is the only match on that card that I know of right now that is 100% happening. No doubt, no questions, it's going down. Now, as far as challenges, I kind of like to, yes, it's January. I kind of like to, get people's energy. I kind of like to, kind of feel stuff out. I just don't want to jump into stuff. Hence why whenever we do the, back then we call it the Royal Rumble, we kind of test the waters. We kind of, see what we can come up with. We kind of, we ease back into it. We've been doing this for 10 years, boy. We got this. We know what we're doing. Shit. We know what we're doing. And for you, our Warriors Heart Champion, want to give you a respect, Mr. Arsene. I'm not saying you're going to be sitting down for Kingdom Chaos, but we'll see what we can come up with. I like taking suggestions from the champs, so we'll see exactly what it looks like going into Kingdom Chaos.
Well, and let's say I know for a fact that there are some new things headed towards the FWWC for the upcoming year. Some things that maybe even Mr. Mills doesn't even know about. So
that's definitely always my favorite part, to be out of the loop. And that, like I said, it's fun. I had a great Christmas. I had a great holiday, had a great New Year's. But y'all know me, man. I'm ready to jump back into business. Professional wrestling is doing things that we've never seen before. And like I said before, man, it's crazy that there is a generation of new wrestling fans who will never know the struggle. Again, kind of like Triple H said last night in his promo, coming from Saturdays at 9 a.m. And even The Rock said it. The only way you could watch wrestling was either you bought a ticket or you watched it on Saturday morning. That was it. Like, no BS. That was it. And I was kind of part of that generation too. Either you bought a ticket to the old Kemper Arena or, Memorial Hall, or you watch WWF Mania, or you watch WCW Saturday night. But now everybody, wrestling, professional wrestling, not sports entertainment, it is entertainment, but professional wrestling has that kind of clout, has that respect, like it should have been. Now, I hope they don't get too damn commercially. Now, come on now. This ain't UFC, but, mainstream does mainstream stuff, baby. That's what we got.
So it's definitely going to be interesting to see on all fronts what's going to happen, and how much sales are going to pick up for the stuff that they're promoting. I mean, I know when they started doing the primes, I actually went out and had to try Prime just to see what the hell the big rage was about. And I know once before when they were advertising dude wipes, you said you had to go buy some dude wipes. So, I mean, it's worked this far.
I bought some the next day, and the owner shouted me out on Facebook. No BS. No BS at all.
I certainly hope there wouldn't be if you bought the dude wipes.
There you go.
So,
good one.
I tell you what, let's go ahead and hit a few more high spots here. I know we got somebody else backstage that might join us for a couple high spots, but let's go ahead and get another question up here and see what we got going. All right. And our next question is, the women's IC title. So for the finals of the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship Tournament are set. Lyra Valkyria versus Dakota Kai. Who do you want to see as the first champ? So who wants to start us off?
I was going to say, since you ended the last question, Mills, why don't you start this one off?
Interesting. Again, full circle. Shout out to the entire WWE for putting women's wrestling not only at a higher level of respect, but also dignity. Again, there's a generation that doesn't know about how women's wrestling used to be back in the day. Okay? There's a generation that knows nothing about the lingerie matches. They don't know anything about the bra and panty matches. They don't know nothing about the bathroom breaks, okay? But the fact that women's professional wrestling is being put in such a high regard that not only one women's belt, but an additional women's belt, because I'm not mistaken, the U.S., and I agree with you, Moby Lee, I want to see Dakota win, the U.S. women's title, and now the women's intercontinental title. You know, we need a dudes wife partnership, the whole team. That's the only wife told. Yo, I'll try to see if I can get that link. Let me see if I can search through my old archives and see if I can hook that up. I'll see if I can get that sent.
This generation's kids are babies.
They are babies, son. Yes, they are. And they need to know more about than Fortnite. I love you, son. But
babies.
I know. I get it. That's mini Mills in the back. But Dakota Kai, 100%. She had an amazing run in Damage Control. Once again, a lot of their work ethic, and that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing more of an emphasis on, and again, being a wrestling mark, a wrestling nerd for years, I'm seeing more of an emphasis on safe work in the ring. You know, the biggest thing when it came to women's wrestling were the botches. You know, oh my God, is somebody going to get in there and screw something up? Oh my God, is somebody going to go in there and break a neck or do something stupid? That match last night with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, I believe, amazing match. They both made each other look amazing. They both protected each other. It was great. So hopefully Dakota Kai comes out on top of this. I believe she's the most qualified for that title to lead, this new, what they're trying out here in WWE with women's wrestling.
All right, Gabe, you want to throw your 2 cents in there?
Mills, I could not agree more. I mean, it's nothing against Lyra. I think it's just because I've heard Dakota more, so I feel like she has the name value. I think it's one of those things where, like, even if you're not familiar with her work outside of WWE, and that's the thing, there are people who know the stuff she did before she came to WWE. Mm-hmm. So I feel like maybe they have that name value when they take them, overseas or anything like that. Is just in the fact that, like, at least she has a major, direction. I mean, I feel like I'm not missing anything outstanding when it comes to Lyra. With Dakota, she had Damage Control, and I feel like every major member of that group was penciled for something because Bayley was champ. Io, Asuka, they all won a belt, and then it was, and then now it's like we've reached, and then Kyrie as well. But with Dakota, it just feels like she was always falling by the wayside. So I feel like this is kind of a good consolation where I don't know that she's ready for a world championship yet. I mean, obviously she's very safe in the ring. She knows what she's doing, but I don't know if she's got the draw yet. But this is a good way to give her something to do. It gives her and a bunch of other wrestlers a bunch of things to do, and it helps put something on her resume, because I just looked this up. She has nothing. Like, she didn't win anything in NXT. She hasn't won anything on the main roster yet, like not even the women's tag title. So this, not only does this make it so that she gets to be Intercontinental Champion, she's the inaugural. So that's going to be on her resume going forward, and we'll see where that goes when it does. But yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think Dakota is the answer to go here, and I'm going to be rooting for her.
Okay, so a question was just put up. DeJuan, we're not going to talk about Travis smoking a check. Now, we don't know what was in that. Let's use the, hold on. Hey, the way the world is now, allegedly, we don't know what Travis had in that, whatever he was smoking. That could have been high class tobacco. We don't know for a fact. We don't know. Okay. So I'm just saying, it's California. It's Travis Scott. What else would you expect? It's a legal state, but the biggest thing, does anybody else follow Bronson Reed on Twitter? Did anybody else see that exchange of what he said as far as like, dude, what the fuck?
For the uninitiated, what did he say, Mills?
I mean, something to the effect that when he gets back to Raw, he better be able to smoke a big blunt or something. Like, okay.
Dude, it's 2025, all right? I feel like more people smoke now than they did in the 90s. So, like, can we get The Godfather back? I mean, just something analogous? Just throw that out there.
They always looking for sponsors. I'm just saying, Yeah. And I think it's weird because I think there's can you imagine? Here's my biggest thing when it comes to sponsorship and marketing and things of that nature. I don't want to get too far into that. Imagine somebody said, imagine who WWE is saying no to. Think about that. Who are they saying, that sounds like some good money, but we don't want to be tied with that. Hey, I don't know if we want that, on our in the middle of the ring. I mean, they could have Viagra in the middle of the ring. They could have, hey, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I wouldn't mind, a major marijuana dispensary company, hey, being in the middle of the day. If they throw them enough money, I'm just saying, money talks. And like I said, I'll make the same joke every time. All them lights and all them drones and all that shit costs money. So
people wanted to return to the Attitude Era. This is how you do it. But
yeah, that shit costs money, dog. That shit ain't free, and they got to do it. And that's another thing. I hope they don't back themselves into such a big corner that I don't want to get into the anime conversation. You have to have fillers sometimes, okay? You can't have a mother effing freaking big boss fight every damn episode. One Piece. You got to have some fillers there somewhere. So I hope that the WWE, just because we're on this new platform and everything, the first few shows might be extravagant, but week in and week out, trying to, outdo the previous week, you'll really burn yourself out like that. And that's in any business. So pace yourselves, have fun, entertain the audience, kiss the kids, buy the merch, enjoy the mother effing show. And they're cursing. There was a lot of curse words on there. That's like
this is true. But with that, I think we finally need to hear Haas's answer so we can move on to our next question.
Yes.
Well, let's get another man in here real quick and see what he's got to say about the goings on here. So.
Oh man, okay.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's going on, Big Daddy?
Happy New Year, my brothers.
How are you doing?
Man, 2025 is off the charts. If this picture doesn't describe me right now, I don't know what else could. And let me answer this high spot. It's real simple. You guys overcomplicate it. Dakota Kai has had injury problems consistently. I'm going with Lyra. I think she can carry it a lot farther. I just wish I could pronounce her name. That last name is a tough one, man. But
Lyra Valkyria?
Yeah, I just think Lyra's it. I knew who was going to lose last night. I can't wait to see what happens on NXT tonight. Man, we are so blessed to have the technology and to have the ability to watch as much wrestling as we want, and everybody's fighting to stay alive. They're not fighting against each other. It's not WWE versus Impact versus AEW. It ain't none about that. It's pro wrestling on every channel you can possibly think of. They eventually will get to 7 nights a week to where all we'll do is just watch wrestling. And my only comment about last night is fire, man. Production value, the freaking drones coming. But I thought they missed a huge opportunity with Roman Reigns last night, because when he went to put his finger up the first time, that drone came down with the camera and was coming right at him. And they stopped it, like, probably because of liability. They didn't want to get that close, but they could have brought that drone right. I'm telling you, they could have brought the drone 10, 15 feet in front of them and stopped there. So I know they're still testing it out. But it was a very, I knew everything was going to happen, except I did not think if Hulk Hogan was going to come on that they wouldn't book him. Let me tell you, without Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan, we wouldn't be talking now. This show would not exist. So as much as you might not like him because he represented the 47th president of the United States, get over it. Because a lot of our favorite wrestlers, you wouldn't know what their politics are unless they told you. So the fact that he was able to stand up and do what he did, knowing that he's going to lose a lot of the people, guess what? I guess he can turn back to a heel again.
You know, I kind of thought, though, in all honesty, with the whole Hulk Hogan segment of it, you know, of course, they were booing the heck out of Hogan, but, you know, I thought Hogan did a better promo segment at the Trump rally than he did on Monday Night Raw last night.
Well, first of all, he messed ripping up his shirt. The first one, when he was supposed to rip off he ripped off the Trump and Vance almost also. I could be very critical of Mr. Hogan, but I will not, because he is a child of God and he's not afraid to share it. And that's what I'm so happy that he did. In the end, he's Hulk Hogan. But now I know why he wasn't on Saturday Night Main Event. Because they would have booed him there too.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, you know, for me, I don't think I don't bring everything up. I mean, I'm an old school. Listen, I'm from the South Park generation. I'm from the Beavis and Butthead generation. I'm from the generation where people had the freedom to say how they wanted to say it, what they wanted to say it, whether it hurt your mother effing feelings or not.
correct.
You dig what I'm saying? And for me, I don't want to trump, no pun intended, everything up to politics. The fact that the people had the freedom to express themselves the way they did, it could have been just because they didn't like them. And like Moby Lee said, Undertaker supports. Hell, Taker had Trump on his damn show and he got cheered. I just thought it was a choice that the audience made, you know, and it was funny as hell. It was funny. It was entertaining. It was one of those moments you're like, well, holy hell, what the? It was just great. It was great TV, you know, and that's the best thing about professional wrestling. The fact that, like they said a million times, the world, not just, you know, the United States, not just Canada.
Have the numbers come out yet?
They have not. Well, I can't say yeah or nay. I have no idea.
Yeah,
Because Jake Paul, they had Jake Paul's numbers out within like a couple hours after the event was over, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Maybe the next day.
They may have the numbers out, and we just haven't seen them. I don't know. I just know I haven't seen them.
Wrestling is good. Great matches last night. I already knew what John Cena was going to do. That was predictable. I thought The Rock was going to turn on Roman. That didn't happen. I really thought he was going to give him the Ufala, whatever the hell it's called. First of all, they've overcomplicated wrestling. Between them and AEW's tournaments, I just want to vomit. And whatever happened to just getting in the ring and wrestling? You know what I mean? I could have predicted. I knew the Drew McIntyre match was going to be pretty short. That didn't surprise me much. You know, I knew that. But at the same time, seeing Seth Rollins, man, that was very nice of him to do that for Punk. He didn't have to, but he did. And I'm not 100% sure the Undertaker thing was a real surprise.
It was random as hell. I know that.
Yeah, well, yeah. Where else are you going to put him?
Good point.
She's acting like it was a surprise.
That's why I knew Perez would lose tonight, because I knew the way all the belts were changing. I mean, it seemed like it was a slow drip for Roman. Slow drip. All of a sudden, boom, he wins. It's over. That's it. I mean, it was, and it was just kind of like what I call a boner killer. I'm glad Roman won, but it was just almost like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, Perry, let me kind of ask you that question, because I gotta get her because I get dinner made. When it comes to booking, I guess I come from the old school kind of, you know, bookers. You know, we know what the people want to see. We know what's going to put butts in the seats. And they start with a pretty high momentum match. Somebody said Macaulay Culkin was there. That Macaulay Culkin got the biggest pop of the night. The kid from Home Alone. Let's just get that. But you know, when it comes to booking,
creepy as hell. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is. When
creepy.
When it comes to booking and putting eyes on the, you know, product, Roman and Solo going first. What are your thoughts about that? Putting high momentum matches that in the beginning of the damn show.
Yeah, I was confused on what the main event was going to be. After like the second match, there was only 4 matches in 3 hours. That's a lot of extra horse shit. Oh, excuse me. And then the commercials. That was another thing. I was hoping not to have any, but I understand you need the transitions, but I also understand they're trying to make money too. It's a business, so you need the advertisers. But we had no streaming issues because I don't think they got. Maybe I predicted a number last night. I thought maybe they'd get 20 million, but it's probably not going to be more than about maybe 3 or 4 million. I think. I could be wrong, but I think they're also going to count the rewatches tonight and stuff. But I guess they said if you don't watch it live, you can fast forward over the commercials on Netflix. So I'm really looking forward to that if that's the case, because I just don't sit in front of the television all day. Now, I know in 2025, we're just not going to talk about wrestling, because there's a whole lot. I mean, this is a wrestling podcast, but we're also human beings with feelings. And I know that there are people who are starting this year off discouraged, maybe because 2024 ended rough. And now they're thinking, well, with 2025, maybe it's going to be better. All I have to say is if we look at history and what history did around this time 4 years ago, I'm waiting for either the norovirus or the bird flu or some crazy ass disease to try and lock us down again, so that they can cause trouble. I have a sense. I'm shocked that Trump has made it this far. That's all I have to say. And I hope he gets to inauguration, because things are going. We're going to get these hostages back from Israel. I think that's kind of important, you'd think. And how about all the Americans that are still there?
Well,
we need some balls in the White House.
Before we get into the snippets of truth real quick, and before Dewan gets out of here, the producer in the back wants to know who you guys think Tiffy should face for her first defense. We asked that question earlier, so.
I was just so glad she won, man. This whole on the fence thing was driving me crazy. Naya's good. She's done a great job. She hasn't injured anyone in the last 3 months, I don't think. But Tiffy has definitely paid her dues, man. You go on the road that much. But let's see. Who do we think should be her first? Boy, that's a good question.
I don't know. I mean, if you want to do some lazy booking, run it back with Nia.
Oh, no. Don't do that. No.
I said lazy booking. Now, if you want to put some effort into the booking, I would probably go with, God darn it. Yeah. The MMA with the makeup.
Shayna Baszler?
There you go. Hey.
No.
Someone say Candice LeRae.
It's either going to be Becky or Charlotte.
I hope it's not Becky or Charlotte, because then it's like,
she's only gonna be champ for like a month. 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like anytime. I mean, honestly, the Charlotte defense is probably what's gonna happen, because anytime anybody cashed it in, Charlotte was right there to be like, and I'll be taking that back.
Oh, I know who could. I just figured it out. I know who she could wrestle for the belt. Ric Flair to get 17. John Cena.
On that note, I'm out.
All right, been nice having you, Devon. Thanks. We'll talk to you again in a couple weeks.
Woo!
He's lacing his boots up. He's working out. We were at his last match. It was atrocious. Even he said that.
All right, Big Daddy. I do see that we have somewhere. Where was it? I
missed you.
AJ has a prayer request for tonight. His dog Whiskey passed away a few days ago. So, we want to pray for the loss of a loved one. I know some people think that something like that may not be something major or something that God would focus on, but we all know anything that's important to us is important to him.
Absolutely correct.
Therefore, that dog was something important to AJ, and it's a loved one, and it's a loss that AJ feels. So it is something that God will listen to, and something that, God is going to look at. So definitely want to throw that one out there.
I just lost a very dear friend of mine today, who I've known since I was about 7 years old. He was a father figure, hell of a bass player, Gary Kendall. But he suffered physically, mentally for years. So I'm just glad he's out of pain, but man, I'm going to miss him. It's just one of those things, There's a lot going on now, guys. There's a lot of things that people are pretty concerned about. They don't know what the future holds. Half of them don't even know who holds the future. So they're running around like a lost GPS, not knowing where to go, where to turn. And so hopefully at this moment, if they're listening, that they know we care, that even though the world is filled with evil people, we're not one of them. And how they know that is based upon our love. And I think that's the key now, that as we proceed forward through the next 4 years and all the changes that take place, that we keep our eyes on heaven, not on the concerns of what's going on in this world. I see people all the time emailing about, how do I find peace and joy? The world doesn't offer it. It's a fruit of the Spirit. You can only have it if you have a relationship with the Lord, because that's a fruit. That's part of having the Spirit within you. So I just want to encourage you today that it's 2025. Instead of looking at what resolutions or things you can change, maybe one of the best things you can do to change is continue to trust him in all situations, whether if it's a financial situation or a physical situation or whatever personal situation that might be distracting you from remaining focused on his plan. A lot of people, they focus on the destination, but they forget about the journey. And I think when we have fellowship with God and we trust him and he uses us, because keep in mind, he said he was going to build his church, right? That's one church. So all these millions of locations that are set up, they're not remembering who they're serving. They want to be served, but they're not willing to serve. So I want to encourage you that if you are a child of God, if you put your faith and trust in Christ and you know who he is, stop arguing with him, stop questioning him, do what he says when he says to do it. He'll tell you what to say and when to say it, because that's what he does. But start with the people around you, because life is very short. People are dying every day. And I just want to make sure that anybody who happens to hear my voice knows that receiving eternal life does not require works. It's by faith alone in Christ and the work that he did alone. Now, once you've accepted Christ, then the work begins, because then he can begin to use you. And I think the term born again Christian is completely misunderstood. That's like saying a partial pregnant person. You're either a child of God, you're in the family of God, or you're not. In order to be in the family of God, you have to have a spirit. The only way you can receive that spirit is by putting your faith and trust in him. And the moment you accept Christ is the moment the spirit comes within you and he begins to lead you. It's a very slow process. It isn't overnight, but I want to encourage you that if you are hearing my voice right now, don't give up, no matter what's going on. If everything is great, celebrate, be excited, be happy. If you're under adversity or stress, consider. Just stop, look at your situation, and consider, and allow God, the Holy Spirit, to guide you into all truth. For the truth is what sets us free. If we're in bondage in any situation, it's because we don't have truth. So I want to encourage you today to seek truth, because he is the way, the truth, and the life. And the only way is through him. You ready for me to pray?
Yep,
Good.
definitely. Definitely. Good. We're always ready for a good prayer.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the time that you've given us. We thank you for this year that you brought, and even in the midst of trials and adversity, you have still brought us here today. And there are many people like my friend Gary, who's now face to face with you. Whew. It's a gift. Life is a gift. And Father, I just ask that those that are suffering in any way, that you would not only meet them at their needs, but you would help them figure out the plan that you have for their life. We know, Father, that you provided us your word. We know that you provided us your spirit. We have everything that we need, and we are without excuse. So I thank you that we can come before you with an attitude of gratitude, with basketfuls of thanksgiving. But Father, you know there are people right now who are not thankful, who are not grateful, who are not content. They're searching and seeking for more. And Father, I know that you want the very best in our lives. We know that you provide the superior things, but sometimes it takes some time to get there. So I just pray that you would continue to heal the bodies of all those that are sick, especially the wrestlers that can't work. We also want to pray for all those that have lost people, or in this case, animals as well. Father, we know that you are the great comforter, and I pray that you would heal their heart, whether that's through another animal or not having an animal and focusing on other things. But I'm thankful that we can come before you and ask these things, knowing that you tell us, come to me all who are weary and heavy laden, exhausted, tired. He says, come to me and I will give you rest. The word come requires action on our part. We have to continue to trust that you know the plan that you've set out in eternity past for us. May we know what that plan is, and we love you. I thank you for Wrestle Talk. I pray also that you continue to strengthen them. I see there's a lot of new things going on there and a lot of spin-offs and different things going on. I'm thankful that you continue to make provision for them. And I love you. And Father, if there's anybody who is hearing me for the first time and don't know you, Father, I pray that within their soul they would trust you. We are no judge. We're not here to judge anyone, but we are here to tell them the good news, the refreshing news that you provided a free gift. You said, believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and you will be saved. It is written that by believing that he is the Christ, that you would have eternal life. And so I thank you for the work that you've done. I thank you for the work that you're going to do. And I love you. And I ask these things by the power of the Holy Spirit, in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, in whose name I pray. Amen. We did it.
All right. So, all right. Thank you, Big Daddy. It's always a pleasure. And we look forward to more shows with you. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. We should be back with another great episode. And hopefully we'll have another great year ahead of us.
Arsene, how you doing?
I've been holding up all right, thankfully. I'm very close to fixing my car. And it just one day at a time. It's the best way I've approached it.
Keep the smile, because that might be the only thing you could give someone, but it'll change a life. Just remember that. A smile, a hug, a good, kind word. That's what people need today. So, especially those who aren't happy about the election results, they get to spend the next 4 years like we spent the last 4 years. So we have to be compassionate towards that, because we know they're freaking out because they all don't want to go to jail for all their junk and all the lies and all the legal things that they took place. They're all worried about Trump turning on them. He's not turning on them. He wants to make sure that America gets the things that they deserve, because we are the light in the world, whether anybody knows it or not. Maybe that's why people are so angry with us, because we are the light. Peace and love, man. Peace and love. Love you guys.
All right. Thank you, Big Daddy. We'll see you
you
next
soon.
show. Big Daddy P, everybody. All right. So far we've been off to another great show, and
I was gonna say we're rocking and rolling right now, dude. We're almost I've been going for an hour and 30 right now. Soon.
Yeah,
Hey, the man
out
of the
to
hour,
El
El Diablo
Diablo.
Vega. I see you in them
So-
comment section, senor.
So as we said, we've had a 3-part series going. This is something that we're trying just to see how it goes. Hopefully we'll have some more in the future. And this is part 3, the third and final part of the interview with El Diablo, as it was hosted with both Renee and Sonny Money Mayo. And so it's been an interesting one so far. Hopefully you've had a chance to check the first 2 out, Gabe, and hopefully the family's had a chance to check the first 2 out. We've been finding out a lot of interesting stuff with El Diablo, where he started, about his past, and then they brought it up to kind of present. And so now we're going to look at part 3 and go a little deeper and find out more about El Diablo the man, not just El Diablo the wrestler El Diablo. We're going to find out more about him himself as well. And another session, and as it's called, Unmasked and Uncensored. So definitely can't wait to find out more about this. So are you ready to see if we can get this to work, Gabe?
I'm definitely ready to see how this turns out.
All right, so let's go ahead and see if I can get this to work. And we're going to go ahead and play the third part of this interview.
Can we
If by
can we
chance,
get Big Daddy P back on? I think we need a prayer to make sure this works out.
if by chance something doesn't happen, we'll definitely still post the third part so that you can see it. But hopefully we can get this going right here and won't have to end and then put it up. So let's see what happens here. And then once it's over, Gabe and I will come back and we'll go ahead and close out the show, and then we'll be good for the night. So let's see what we got going here. So give me just a second.
Damas y caballeros, bienvenidos una vez más a un segmento esencial. Oh, wait, let me hit that SAP button. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to session 3.
Yup.
Essential Conversations, Unmasked, Uncensored, with El Diablo Vega. Now, I hate to state the obvious, but whoa.
Like, whoa.
Like, whoa. We're looking at a different iteration.
Yeah.
A different entity and a different energy. Sonny, it's palpable in the room right here.
Absolutely,
right now, right?
bro. This is completely different over here. I didn't expect this night out. I didn't expect this.
This is different. I mean, y'all are seeing it.
Yeah.
I mean, we said unmasked and y'all thought we was playing.
Right.
Y'all cut it off halfway through the last one, like, they was capping. Nah.
We told you one cut, and they cut it off.
What did we say? I'm not the I told you so guy, but
told you so.
Told you so. All right, so Diablo, we've talked about the past in depth. We've talked about the present in depth. But now is the time. 2025 and beyond. I'm going to need you to talk your shit, bro. And for those that don't understand what that means, is I need you to give yourself your flowers. Not in an egotistical way, but let's just say you are marketing yourself to the masses as a talent. What do they need to know? Because listen, you got to make waves if you want to get up out the ocean, right? So this is the opportunity to do that. When I say talk your shit, I mean, what are we doing from today moving forward to set ourselves apart from all the other competition, bro? I love all the wrestling I'm seeing, but that's a lot of names, a lot of matches, a lot of miles. What is El Diablo Vega doing now from this point forward to change the game?
I guess with this certain type of evolution, this sudden change, I guess there's two things I really kind of want to get across.
All right.
One thing is, for all the good people out there, even like yourselves, I just want everybody to know they don't need to be afraid of the guy behind the mask. I'm a good guy. As you can see, El Diablo fights for all good. Not only his gods, but for everyone. But for those on the other side, I need to let them know that they should be scared. They should be worried. There's been several times in the past couple of years that people had to unmask me just to win and just to get their way, to become champions even. And from here going forward, I just want people to know, mask or no mask.
Ooh, let's go. Talk your shit, boy.
I'm not gonna be stopped anymore.
All right, so I got a couple analogies. The first thing that comes to mind is there are great players in every sport, but then there are guys that change the game.
Right.
Can I give you a few examples?
Please do.
Floyd Mayweather.
Yep.
Stephen Curry.
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
They had to change the rules. The game changed.
Yeah.
And what I heard you say in pre-production, Diablo, really stuck out to me. You said they're looking for the real, Night Owl. Money. They're looking for the real. I've been trying to give them the real. I don't know if they was ready. You remember in Back to the Future where he comes out, he's like, I don't know if y'all was ready for that, but your kids are going to love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that the vibe you're on, bro? Because that's the energy I'm getting from you right here, right now, in the same room.
Yeah, bro. I just need people to know, bro. El Diablo Vega is not just a gimmick. He's not just a guy in a mask. He's not just here to entertain. He's here to compete. He's here to win, and he's here to defeat all evil. And that's no matter what it takes. Not necessarily in an evil saying, but like I said, they could take my mask, they could take my titles, they could take anything, but they ain't gonna take El Diablo. Mm-hmm. El Diablo lives again.
That's a shoot, brother. And so what are you going to do, man? I mean, yeah, I know. Listen, you're going to change the game, man. Diablo, man, El Diablo, I can't even put it into words what 2025 is going to hold for you, because I see it, but I just can't put it into words, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
that's to manifest.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
And it sounds like you're going to let, like, obviously we're having a good time having this conversation, but if you don't have these high standards for yourself, bro, then what can you expect from your opponents, your counterparts, right?
Mm-hmm.
What can you expect from them if you don't expect the best out of yourself? I think some people may look at it as egotistical or whatever, and some maybe even say you're taking a risk. Oh, you're peeling back the mask. That's part of what made you who you are. You're like, I'm thinking like, no, bro, I made that mask.
Right.
Like literally I made it.
Yeah.
I didn't send off to it at Disney.com.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like you did.
Right.
You're the guy who made it. And I think only you should be able to say when it's time for that thing to come off and for people to see the more raw and real version of El Diablo Vega.
At first, I guess I want to say, the reason El Diablo was put in a mask is because it was to contain him. At first, I didn't really feel like I could be without the mask because, like I said, I couldn't be contained. I wouldn't really be able to contain myself even. And with the mask, I was able to, discipline myself and learn the ways of Earthrealm, learn the ways of professional wrestling. But now that I've gotten this far in my career and this experience, this level of professional wrestling, it's time for a change. It's time for evolution. It's time to better myself with or without the mask. And I know I'm taking a risk, and with that risk, there will still be a fight, bro. So, although I'm taking this risk, I'm not afraid to take this jump.
Yeah.
I'm not. So, for those out there who I am going to face in the future, just know it won't be as easy as the previous years, my friend.
When maybe you weren't willing to take such a risk back then. Not saying that you weren't out here killing it in the game, but the risk now that you're taking in 2025, a little bit more uncut, a little bit more raw.
Edgy?
Yeah.
Well,
Because not only do, I have these goals of defeating my opponents that I know of so far, but I also do plan on going out further into the Earth realm, as in different states, different companies, different realms, different opponents even. I do have bigger goals, but I'm more of I'd rather let you guys find out once it comes to fruition type of guy. So as for 2025, there will be lots of surprises, but at the same time, just be ready for some really good matches, some really good shows, some really good El Diablo.
So with this, let's say unmasked step that you're taking with your wrestling career, not to say that you're gonna walk out like that all the time, and we're not spoiling anything. I think that'll be 100% up to you, and I think people should stay tuned to figure out like, okay, how's that balance gonna work?
Right.
I think that's part of the intrigue. Because as much as I've enjoyed watching your matches, I think that there's still an opportunity, I think, for all of us to continue to grow, right?
Yeah.
And in order to experience that growth, you have to be willing to adjust. And I see it as like a badge, bro. Like when you take something that works and you milk that for all it's worth, that's great. But when you take something that works and you try to make it better at the risk of hearing people go, oh, bro, this, oh, bro, that, oh, tradition is, especially because I know we share culture. You know, you say Aztec, I'm Mexican, you know what I'm saying? Kind of the same deal. There's a lot of tradition in wearing a mask, and people will say, well, you know, back in my day, you never saw the mask off. You know what I'm saying? Like El Santo never took it off, Blue Demon never took it off, or whatever. But I think what that generation needs to understand that this is a whole new era, and these guys are making their own path. And so if they want to blend a little bit of that hip hop energy, a little bit of that Latin energy, a little bit of that lucha energy, a little bit of that strong side energy, and put it all in a pot, like why not? Why not take all the advantages that you have and everything that people have placed before you as an example and merge it into something new and special? And the fact that we can have a conversation like this for an hour and a half or whatever, and we're not just sitting here talking about moves and shit the whole time, I think that's more of what people want to hear about. They want to hear about the real. And the fact that you're willing to take one of these first steps, you know what I mean, and be one of the people that takes that kind of a step, I think it's something to be respected and admired.
Absolutely.
Regardless of what happens, whether it works or not, just the willingness to take the chance.
Huevos,
carnal. Huevos.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, my friends. I do respect the ways of lucha, and I do respect the whole outlook of mass and everything. But at the same time, those same friends of mine need to know that when it comes to some of these matches, you have to do what it takes to win. You have to do what it takes to throw off your opponent or get the upper hand and win. A lot of these bad guys, quote unquote heels that I run into, as you all know, they like to cheat.
Yeah, they try to take the easy way out. We'll just take his mask off. We'll just take it off.
They like to bring their friends. They like to do this, that, and the third.
Scummy.
Bums.
So
no good crumble.
I just got to thinking to myself, with the new year, there should also be a new Diablo. So I am taking a major risk, trying a new wave, but at the same time, I'm willing to. I'm up for the challenge. I'm up for the challenge, not only with my opponents, but also with myself.
Yeah.
So
that's one big thing El Diablo's.
It'll be just as much of a challenge for yourself as your opponents, bro. But if you get an opponent that steps up, let me introduce you to something a little bit more new to the Earth realm that you're probably not quite as familiar with, but smack the shit out of these motherfuckers. Right? That's what I'm saying.
That's some 90s
shit. Someone
like
tries to step up to El Diablo in 2025, smack the shit out of you.
Where I come from, we call them backhands.
Yeah, that's backhand.
Yeah,
right.
Just keep one on retainer.
All right. So aside from the perception of your secured audience now, and I think you're opening up yourself to be more of an appeal, because there are the fans that like kind of a more traditional thing, and then there are like the newer, more cutting edge type promotions that people are like, yo, these gimmicks are a lot more advanced.
Yeah.
It's a lot more real. It feels a lot more authentic. You know what I'm saying? So aside from that element, what about the potential of having to pick up and go? Say you get a call from, what's one of the dojos over in Japan, bro? Not just New Japan, but there's a few other ones, right?
Yeah,
like Noah.
Right.
What any other?
Is
ones?
All Japan still running?
All Japan.
Over?
Okay, some of those, right?
Yeah.
Like if you happen to rub elbows with the right person, impress the right people, obviously through your hard work, and you had to pick up and go, is that part of the reason that you've kind of separated yourself from like long-term relationships? I think, like, not that we got into that a whole lot during this interview, but my point is, like, are you ready to pick up and go if that call comes?
Yes, I think I am always ready for some type of call like that.
Yeah, even if it meant you get a call from Atlanta or from Jacksonville or places like that are not home, I guess is what I'm saying.
I think no matter what, any type of dream chaser out there, I feel like there's always going to be that little hard spot of being away from family, being away from home, being away from this and that. So I feel like you have to have that willingness to be able to do that and try to handle that. But yes, if I did get a call, I would have to take off.
That's a level of commitment. Because I think promoters that watch this, like, they want to hear that. Like, yo, is this dude going to be willing to pick up and come out here and do work?
Don't get me wrong. It does sometimes. It hinders relationships and things like that. But it's just something we have to go through in life, man. Sometimes people are going to be there to support, or sometimes people have to go a different route, and it's just something we kind of just got to live with and deal with, bro. But
it's part of the business.
I feel like it's going to be different for everybody no matter what, though. I'm not saying it's a mandatory thing someone has to do, but when it comes to me personally, if I did get a call, I would have to go to a different realm, because as you can see, El Diablo is in multiple realms all the time, and the reason that is because he gets phone calls to arrive at these realms from the gods, not from the bookers.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the reason I asked that is because I seen you've been going around to No Fold Pro, you've been at Skill, you've been at a few other ones, right?
Show Me State.
Yeah, Show Me.
Heartland Championship Wrestling.
Heartland, yeah. So that and beyond, right, is what I'm understanding that that's the level of commitment that where you're at mentally.
Yeah, and then even, yeah, man, and then even like I said, this oncoming year, there's other places I plan to check out, and hopefully you see me there fighting more and more. But there is plans to expand. There is plans to evolve. There is plans to take things further, bro. There's 2025 is gonna be crazy.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
How crazy is it gonna get though? I mean, because listen, in the history of professional wrestling, way more in the past and more in the present. There's been wrestlers who wrestled a bear. Like, could we see El Diablo wrestle a bear in 2025?
You and your gimmick matches.
Gimmick match. A live bear, bro. It's a live bear.
I guess it's a real match.
Yeah,
in that sense.
What if you get a call from Alaska Championship Wrestling, bro, and they're like, "We're about to put you in the main event against Smokey the Bear."
Saskatchewan.
That's Saskatchewan
Championship.
Yeah.
Wrestling.
Yeah, Canadian ham on the pole match or something like that. But
there might have to be one phone call I turned in.
Nah, yeah, you declined in that. You're just gonna look at your phone.
But when you brought up the Four Locos match, he sounded like he was all about that.
Yeah, well, we're expanding and evolving here with El Diablo in 2025. So that's a maybe now on a Four Loco death match. Probably a solid no on a bear though, bro. You ain't. You ain't gonna show the bear what room you're in at that.
The strongest animal.
If it's no holds bar, could he bring a rifle?
Man, that's not. Come on, man.
I don't know, bro. I don't know how good his
I don't
aim
need
is.
Peter trying to come in here right now. He is shooting bears.
If the bear is rushing you in self-defense,
it wants to wrestle you.
I'm gonna have to look up the law if you can shoot a bear if it's rushing at you.
The bear came on Facebook and found El Diablo, found Wrestle Talk podcast. He's like, "Yo, I'm gonna put him over."
Matter of fact, you're making me think about the Bears.
The Bears. No, we ain't talking.
Certain mood, yeah.
My bad.
Certain mood. So in regards to the future, I guess I'll tap into this part of it. So we've talked about the change in terms of like how committed you are to continuing to evolve El Diablo as a character and not just let him be classified as a mass luchador, right? It's going to be much more than that. We talked about the travel and the fact that there may be an instance where you got to move out of the state or move out of the country, and you say you're ready to do that. What other challenges do you perceive? Because we can talk about the success, and that's always fun and gives a good laugh or whatever, but when you do run into those challenging days where you end up having to have 3 roommates somewhere, you know what I mean? When car breaks down halfway to a show and it's, another 3 hours till you get there. How do you handle that adversity? What advice would you give to people that are younger than you in the business of how to handle those moments? Because that could be super discouraging, bro. You save up all your little money, you're on your way, you finally got boom, and then car dies. Now you seem like you're a liar. The booker doesn't trust you now, even though you legitimately got a flat tire halfway there. How would you deal with that? How have you dealt with it, and how are you planning on dealing with that sort of adversity in the future?
You have to learn from your experiences. There's going to be a lot of times where stuff like that happens, but at the same time, my advice would be to be prepared. Whenever I was getting back into the wrestling game, I was lucky enough to have a good friend along my side known as Hollis Jarrell. And he let me in on a lot of things and wised me up to be prepared for those types of things, because you don't want to have bookers look at you that way. You don't want to have anybody look at you that way, like the guy that shows up late, or the guy that's not reliable, or the guy that isn't really that good of a wrestler. That's why you have to train and all that stuff, bro. So preparation is key.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one way I like to. I would. This type of advice I would give. That's the type of way I handle those things, because I don't like running into those things, bro. It can already be stressful itself, just traveling and having to deal with everything outside of that. There's so much that could.
You ever have family members call you worried about you? Hey, well, you all right on the road? Bro?
Oh yeah, bro.
Folks checking in on you like that.
Yeah, bro. Because sometimes you forget to text them. I hate to say it.
Text me when you get home.
Hate to say it.
Who sucks at that?
But man, dude.
Who sucks at that? Text me when you get home. Make sure you got all right. You got all right. Then
when you're out there for hours and hours, it kind of just slips the mind, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, bro. Just preparation. Just try and stay prepared and mainly learn from your experiences, because there will be a lot of times stuff like that happens, and you either learn from it or it's gonna keep happening.
So is that what you mean? And I was looking at your bio. By the way, if y'all haven't already, El Diablo Vega, El Diablo on Facebook, make sure y'all look him up. He's all over social media. It's not the only platform, but it says, traveled across oceans of time to prove to my gods what a true warrior is. So are those battles, is that not, let's just say the bad times, is that to you just part of it? You look at it as part of the deal. You know that you're going to face those things. Is that how you prove the kind of warrior that you are?
Yeah.
And obviously, you're always looking to honor the people that help train you, right? Like, want to make sure that when people bring up the people that trained you, you want to make sure you honor them and that they're looked at in a positive light.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, bro. And that's how I look at it a lot of the times. I try, like, at the end of it all, I fight for myself at the end of it all. You know what I mean? Before that, I'm fighting to honor my trainers, to honor my friends, to honor my friends who aren't here, honor my friends who are alongside me, to honor, my family, to honor everything. And then, like I said, at the end, it's me. You know what I mean?
Committed. Listen, El Diablo Vega. When I hear that on the bio, that to me, what that says is you're committed to professional wrestling, and you're committed to succeeding,
making up for lost time,
You know? And your commitment to professional wrestling, that means even more commitment to getting to it and being a part of it and giving it the respect is due. So anytime you got outside adversities or challenges, whether that is a flat tire on the way to the show or whether that is a phone call you weren't trying to get at that time or bad timing, wrestling is still staying prominent on your mind right then and there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, all right, uncut, uncensored, we talk about kicking it. You will make sure that you've got the gym time in. Make sure you got time at the center in before you're like, oh, going to kick it is A1 priority. Not saying that it's not important or anything like that.
It's obvious that the priorities have changed.
But yeah, you know what I mean? So you're staying committed to it, and that's what's making you the warrior. That's what a true warrior is. That's what the true warrior is. The discipline. And that's anybody, you know what I mean? But especially in professional wrestling, because listen, and again, I'm not going to shit on anybody here, but it is a shoot. I'm sure you know of people, not naming names, but I'm sure you know of people in the business who think they're committed to it, but
all
they're
the
not.
Skill in the world, just no work ethic. Yeah.
You know,
like I said, I think that's why I guess I kind of got confused on it, bro. It's because, like I said, I'm really one of those people who I hate to say it this way, but like I care about myself last, bro. So it's really hard to be like,
sorry, I love you. I'd love to spend time right now, but I have to go do this for my career.
Yeah, bro.
Nobody likes to let other people down.
Right.
That's a fact.
But at the same time, I do it for those same people, bro.
Right.
Like I feel like I live, and I'm not saying, you know, I don't want to live, but
Right.
like I love to live for others, bro,
Mhm.
because life is that important, bro. And wrestling is my outlet. Wrestling is what I believe I was born to do, and every day I fight to show that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's why I claim to be a warrior, because every day is a fight, bro. And at the end of the day, I feel like I won.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna give my man a golf clap. Right, we got it.
Sorry for the brain.
No,
fart.
it's all good,
bro.
Well,
You're
it's
good.
like when somebody tells you, if somebody asks you, like, "Who are you?"
Right. Yeah. Exactly right.
Well, I'm Renee. No. Who are you?
Well, no, I'm kind of like what we touched in part 1 and briefly in part 2 and now here in part 3, bro. You are a warrior not just because of wrestling either. I mean, now you're a warrior, and that's a little bit of a different meaning because you're a warrior
I've
on the
never
grind.
been asked that either.
Right.
I'm saying that's what we hear,
Right,
baby.
right,
That's why essential conversations is being created so that we can get past the hey man, give me your top 3, blah blah blah. Like we're
Do
trying
you
to
know
go
Jeff Hardy?
past I knew that was gonna
Do
come
you
up
know
at
Jeff
some
Hardy?
point.
That's my go-to wrestling question for anybody out there. In 2025, everything I do at Wrestle Talk Podcast, I'm gonna ask them. You know Jeff Hardy?
You know Jeff Hardy?
Trying to see the whisper in the
Have you ever
wind.
wrestled John Cena?
Yeah,
I'm sure kids ask me that all the time.
Yeah, but no, seriously though, like part 1, we were in the past, and you had to be a warrior to climb up out of that. You had to open your eyes and look around you and see your surroundings to say, nope.
I guess
there was 2 forks in the road, and you went down this way. You know, for the better.
I guess let me put it this way, bro. I guess it's hard for like El Diablo with the mask, bro. He knows he's a warrior.
Right.
When he throws it on, it's like the movie The Mask. He just snaps out and turns into that warrior.
Yeah.
But
makes you a superhero, bro.
I guess it was hard for me to get that answer out because El Diablo without the mask,
still kind of learning how to almost answer those questions like that.
Kind of. Well, no, it's not necessarily that. It's kind of learning to adjust to. I'm adjusting to being a warrior. You know what I mean?
There you go.
El Diablo without the mask is adjusting to that because the old El Diablo without a mask was not a warrior, bro. He was a bad guy. He was a gangster even. So that's why I guess it was kind of hard to get those words out because I've never, really got to claim that, bro.
Right.
El Diablo with the mask. All day, bro. All day. But this is that new adjustment, that new evolution, that new risk we was talking about. So just got to get used to it.
You'll get used to it, bro, and you'll get them, and you just keep taking them risks like that for the better. Don't eat quick trip pizza, wrestle a bear, whatever the risk is. Bro. We're always supporting you. We're here next to you, bro. It's change, man. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, well, I love that. I love to see the merge of kind of like the street smarts and the business savvy. Kind of blending together. And I think that's kind of what this is. I think that's what this is going to turn into. I think it's going to turn into an environment where we can have these kind of conversations where we're real, where we're raw, when we're uncut, when we're unmasked, but also we're also going to pay respect to wrestling because of how much it's given to us. So like he said, hey, there's no shade on the old heads with all the rules and stuff, and the traditions, but certainly nothing that El Diablo is doing is meant to throw any mud on the past. My man is he's just cutting his own path out. You know what I mean? And that's what we like to see, cutting their own. Because the OGs be mad at you when you just do it the same thing everybody else did. Be like, young buck, go do something different, man. Go do something you're passionate about, right? And that's what it sounds like my man's doing. So I appreciate that.
And 2 things. One thing, if they've even made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. And that's
over there too. Shout out.
The main reasons I wanted to do this in general is for those people that do like to tune into El Diablo content, Wrestle Talk content.
It's gonna go up everywhere too.
This is where
Diablo content, Night Out content, Wrestle Talk is gonna go everywhere.
This is what I wanted to present to you guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, what was the other thing I wanted to say? Yeah, bro, no disrespect or anything like that, because at the end of the day, like Renee was saying, bro, people want to see the real. People want to know what's up, and
Yeah.
there's times that El Diablo doesn't have his mask on sometimes, and from what I hear, people like that El Diablo as well sometimes. So I thought,
He's
hey,
pretty cool.
He's dope.
Yeah, he's
Hey,
alright. Yeah,
I mess with him.
yeah,
why not bring that out in 2025 a little bit?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Love it.
Now's the time, bro.
Yeah, bro.
That's right. Well, we're not sure when this is going to release exactly, so we're not speaking on anything too specific. But if any of this does come out after any of those matches we talked about, man, I'm sure you're going to be proud to have whatever result comes out of it. Sounds like you got some
we'll
pretty.
come back and talk about it.
Oh yeah, that'll be amazing. That'll be amazing. So the other thing I'll say is, man, if there's anybody else that I think y'all would like to see be a part of these sort of conversations, man, definitely let us know in the comment section. Before we close it out, I guess I just have to thank you. As you know, we talked about off air, like I've formally stepped away from hosting the Wrestle Talk podcast, but I still want to help that thing be the best it could be, you know what I'm saying, in its own class. And if we can do this, which allows us to control the time and the quality a little bit better, and y'all enjoy it, and y'all share and do all that bullshit, we promise we will keep trying to produce this stuff. And make sure y'all follow this man. Like, this is not you're not following a wrestler. You're following a man on a journey through wrestling.
Yeah.
And the man himself, and the story about the man is way cooler than any story that he'll ever tell in the ring.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If y'all know him how we know him, and it's just a little bit, it's just an hour or two worth of Diablo. If y'all knew him how we knew him, y'all will understand why we take the time to do shit like this, because this man deserves it, man.
1,000.
For real.
Thank you guys for having me, bro.
No, absolutely, bro. No, man. It's an honor. It's a privilege. Super proud of you. As I said once before, you keep doing what you're doing for yourself, your private life, your personal life, but also for professional wrestling, bro. You're growing, and keep kicking that ass, dog. And we'll always be rooting for El Diablo, just like everybody out there needs to be rooting for him too. So, as my man Night Owl said, if you ain't following him, you better be following him. All right.
Follow these guys too.
Yeah.
That's that Night Owl MX with a K. Y'all know what it is.
Yeah. Sonny Money Mayo, babe.
That's right.
That's it.
This man's got some of the best family-friendly content I've seen, bro. The stuff you post with your family is amazing. Obviously, all your wrestling shit is crazy. Yeah. And me, I'm just trying to be goofy. I'm just trying to have a good time.
2025, I'm gonna start hitting it. It's 2025. I need to start hitting the Twitter again and make a little bit.
It's fun, yeah. So. I spread a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of nonsense. That's my key ingredient. A little knowledge, little nonsense.
At KC Superkick. That's a dope handle, and I got it, bro.
Are you on X?
You on X, bro?
Yeah. What's that?
Official. I think it's El Diablo 662, actually.
There you go. 662, baby. Y'all heard it. Yeah. Hey, listen, we're going to do this again. This was an incredible, I don't even want to say debut, but I want to say that this is an incredible opportunity to bring a new and different kind of content to the audience out there. So, again, we appreciate everybody. Muchas gracias a la raza. And we'll catch y'all on the next one. Who knows? Never know who we might have on here. So stay tuned, y'all. Yeah. Peace, y'all. Adios.
Woo! Thank goodness that worked.
I was worried, but well, we
can
got
that sigh of relief. Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend, the man behind the mask, El Diablo Vega. Man, essential. Man, it's just.
I mean, if you didn't see the first two parts, make sure you go back and check those out. I mean, you get to follow El Diablo from being in gangs in the streets, his story from back then to going into the FWWC, and then going into his training and just where he is now, being a champion, all the way up to what we just saw. And I tell you, it's a great interview. It's a great to find out more about El Diablo, and just hear where he's been and where he is now. And it's just amazing, the things that that he's overcome to get to where he is. And just wish El Diablo the absolute best from here on out, let me tell you, because he really is. I've met him in person before, so I'm not just talking about somebody that, I've only seen through interviews and stuff. I have met him. He's one hell of a guy, and just look forward to seeing where he goes from here and everything moving forwards. And he's been here with us in the comments. Shout out to you as well.
We love you, man. I just I don't have the luxury of saying that I've been able to meet him in person, but I am well acquainted with him. He is honestly, he's one of the biggest inspirations I have right now, because I got to meet him when he was still in the FWWC. And, as somebody who's a huge fan of wrestling, to have somebody like him, because thankfully I by the grace of God, I don't have a background like him. But to know that somebody like him can, pick himself up and be able to do something like pro wrestling, despite all the setbacks, despite all the, self-doubt and, that little voice in the back of your head always telling you the wrong thing. It appeals to the big, the big sap that I am, I guess, that I'm like, if he can make it, then I can definitely make it. And I'm still trying to have an opportunity to be able to talk with him on the phone, because now that he's actually doing it, he's trying to be like, hey, I like to think that he's trying to tell me what he could have told himself when he was trying to get back into it. So, from the bottom of my heart, man, we love you, and we're happy to have you as a family member of the Wrestle Talk podcast. And I hope you guys love that new format, because I honestly love it. Like Renee, Night Owl went the whole 9 yards with the setup. I mean, you guys saw the different camera angles. They got the microphones, and I mean, Sonny Money doing what he does best. So
yeah, and just keep in mind now, I know that there were a few glitches here and there, but this is something that they've tried for the very first time, and we're just going to continue to improve upon it, just as we do the Wrestle Talk podcast. And you see, Renee says it itself, more essential conversations in the near future. Make sure y'all share the content, and we'll keep dishing it out. And they're just going to keep getting better and better and better from here on out. Trust me. And, it's hard to imagine how much better they can get. I mean, content wise, it was absolutely awesome. And, it was a great interview all the way around, but they really picked somebody to set a high bar for their very first interview. So, it's going to be interesting to see.
I think they did a good job of making sure that essential conversations felt essential, because you guys need to watch this. I'm just telling you.
So, and before we get out of here, he wants to know if been following MLW. Well, we know Gabe follows MLW, so
yes, I have, sir. I can say with a certainty, I've been hitting up all my buddies in Texas. I'm like, you guys need to see Kings of Coliseum. It's fantastic. You guys need to catch a lot of their shows. They're uploading everything on YouTube, guys. Like, I don't know how much more shilling I have to do to get MLW to sponsor this podcast, but Lord knows I will do whatever it needs to be. I will walk Mount Everest butt naked if I have to. Okay, because I will do whatever it takes, because MLW is fantastic. But
honestly, I have caught some of it. I haven't caught a whole lot, though, to be honest. I mean, there is just so much out there between trying to keep up with the AEW, trying to keep up with WWE. I've got OVW on my DVR. I've got, New Japan, TNA,
I'm just throwing this out there for the people. I'm throwing this out there for the wrestling fans on a budget, because for some people out there, I know we can't afford everything like a Netflix, like an HBO Max, like a New Japan World account. I mean, I got to borrow mine, for Christ's sake. Okay. I don't have enough money to watch enough of the wrestling going on. So for MLW to upload their content free on YouTube, give them a watch, guys. It's free. You literally you can watch it live, and then they upload it immediately after. Can we throw that back up on there real quick? Like, I just want to take the opportunity because I love this. We absolutely need Moby Lee versus AJ Francis ASAP, because that would be nothing more than money, money, money. And I'm just as much as I want MLW, I want AJ Francis on this program. Okay, I don't care. Everybody needs to share this episode. Get Top Dollar in this show right now. Okay, but we could talk about this another time, because right now the man of the hour is El Diablo Vega. And once again, Essential Conversations, ladies and gentlemen, please be sure to check out all 3 parts. You know, you only got a snippet of it. You need the lead in. And, you know, we've been talking about this for a while now, man, and we're 2 hours in.
So, you know, it's been a great show watching all 3 of those segments. Like I say, you can find them on Facebook. They are going to be on our Spotify channel. I think you can find them on YouTube, on X. The 3rd part of the video will drop by itself on YouTube tomorrow. So, you know, be sure, like I say, if you missed any of it, be sure to go back and check out all 3 segments. You know, it's one heck of an interview, but it has been a great night. I know usually we close things out with the game show challenge, but tonight, you know, we've already gone 2 hours, a little over 2 hours. Out here where I'm sitting, it's between 45 and 50 degrees. So it's kind of cold out here. So
I was going to notice you put the hoodie on. I could tell. It must have been getting cold over there.
Yeah, I've got a heater sitting right here next to me. So that's the only way I've been able to bear it out here through what I have. But, you know, it's been a great show.
I'm sure everybody up north's going to hate me for saying this, but we're getting it cold down here too. So I don't know it to the degree you do, Haas. But yes, I think we're reaching to the end of the program here. So I think we got to do one last sponsor shout out before we wrap up the program.
Yeah, definitely. We got to hit our sponsors here one more time. And, you know, just want to thank our great and wonderful sponsors. You know, we got the Retro Zone.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Promotional.
Okay. We got the Retro Zone. We've got Painter's Dream Productions. That's the one and only Big Daddy P, who you saw earlier. The Independent St. Louis Hall of Fame. Want to thank those guys. You know, and congratulations to the one and only Luke Skywalker as one of the inductees this year. We've got the Interstate 70 Sports Media, Jeremy Karp and the guys over there. They are absolutely killing it. And, you know, if you haven't checked out their podcast as well, be sure to check them out. They are absolutely great over there. We've got Little Popeye's Designs, you know, where you get your very own Wrestle Talk podcast tumbler, as you see there. Only $20, $5 more to get your name on it. Plus then, you know, you got shipping and stuff that too, but be sure to just hit one of us up. We'll be more than happy to get you fixed up with one. They are a limited supply. So once we hit a certain number of sales, they're gone. Just like the mug we used to have. Very high quality. Be sure to get yourself one. And of course, the world premiere fantasy wrestling group, the FWWC. You know, wouldn't be here without all those great sponsors. And of course, as we said before, we've got fan sponsorship now. If you would like to become a fan sponsor where you can sponsor the Wrestle Talk podcast, be sure to hit us up. If you have a business or something and you want to sponsor, hit us up. We'll be more than happy to get you set up. As well as you can send us stars on Facebook and like and share, hashtag WTP, hashtag Let's Talk Wrestling. You know, just be sure to get us out there. We couldn't do this without you guys and without your support.
Any aspiring businesses out there that want us to sponsor them, I am shameless. I will wear whatever you want on this screen nonstop. Okay. But yes, if you enjoyed tonight's episode, please consider sending us some stars. We are eternally grateful for it. It helps us do what we do here on the program. And, it's just nice to get everything, handed to you every now and then. But
So
everybody's looking for a break. No.
It's been a great show, and just want to thank everybody. It's been a pleasure to be here with you again, Gabe. It was great to see Big Daddy P and Dewan Mills, and as we say, we'll definitely be having them back again this year. And so I believe the next show will be in 2 weeks, which I believe Luke Skywalker Roberts will be here and Jeremy Carp. So, it will be another wonderful show, I'm sure. So definitely looking forward to that. So any closing remarks there, Gabe?
Ladies and gentlemen, episode 506 of the Wrestle Talk podcast, the first in the year 2025, is in the record books. Hardcore Haas and Gabriel Arsen will be signing off here tonight. Thank you. And as always, stay tuned.